Season 3, Team Affinity is officially here. It's a crazy one, but filled with so many great cards. And some that are not as great. That's why we're going to rank all of them right here. The best divisions and the best cards you should go after first. In Chapter 1, out of position of Team Affinity Season 3 in MLB The Show. Leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel, and let's get into it. It's the same setup, 30 diamonds, 5 per division, but which division is the best? Well, this is how I would rank them. The American League West is absolutely stacked. Some of the best cards, and truly, there's no bad ones out of that division, so they get the top spot. Second, I think we gotta give it to the National League East. Finally, SDS put some respect on that division, which typically has pretty poor cards, and getting a third place ribbon, the National League Central, which is home to some really great cards. And let's go from the top down, starting at C tier. Now again, I don't think there's any de facto terrible cards here. We're gonna kick off with Dontrelle Willis, who should have been a lot better. One of the best hitting pitchers of his time, of all time in Major League Baseball. He's just not very good. He's a DH exclusive. He ain't fast. He does not fit either of the Brandon Lowe or Steven Kwan captains, which are for lessened power or contact. He just doesn't bring much to the table. There's nothing that he excels at. So he's going to be last. Unfortunate. Cy Young, another guy who never seems to get good cards in the game. And they give him an entire different position, and it's not a whole lot different. So those Steven Kwan and Brandon Lowe captains, now I don't think they're very good, but the caveat being they can be decent right now because you're looking for contact below 100 for Brandon Lowe or power below 100 for Steven Kwan, but you need both righties and lefties to be at that mark. So Cy Young does not work for Brandon Lowe, which is a big factor in this card being not quite as good. The vision and clutch are solid at upper 90s. The fielding isn't anything crazy. First base and second base, I mean, just not that adventurous of positions. Feels insane that we're talking about a first base Cy Young. I don't know if there was a first base invented by the time that Cy Young was actually a player. He was the first baseman. Shane McClanahan here, talk about another first base. He's not very good at the outfield, 74 fielding, 58 speed, so he's pretty much just at 1B. Now, he will get the Brandon Lowe captain, which is interesting, but the vision and the clutch are lower. I just don't think this card is too incredible. One thing I do want to preface, shout out to Scan. If you guys watch MLB The Show content, you probably know Scan. He went through on his live stream and essentially tracked every out-of-position player, what pitching motion or what stance and swing they have. So check this out, take a pause, take a screenshot, and you can see maybe some of these guys match up with your favorite swing or favorite pitching motion in the game. Our final card for C tier is going to be Zach Gallen. He just has really low power at 75 and 70. The speed isn't anything incredible at 68. He's a defensive darling at shortstop, of course, 99 fielding, 99 reaction. The problem is that doesn't really matter quite as much as you might think. It doesn't play that much better than even gold defensive rating at shortstop. And you're left with a guy with sub 100 contact, which, yes, is good for Brandon Lowe and Steven Kwan eligibility, but even still, he's not going to get too great. Now let's take a look at the B tier, where we have a lot more cards and definitely get a lot better. Kick things off, Rake Arrieta. Again, in his time, a very good hitting pitcher. I gotta say, Madison Bumgarner would have been an excellent choice for one of these. I think he would have been a ton of fun as a DH, and warranted too. Hell, the Giants hit Mad Bum even out of a pitcher spot sometimes. He was that good. And Jake Arrieta comes in. You could play him at first base with 60 fielding. It's not going to go over too well, but you could. And again, he's got good clutch, but the vision is terrible at 58, which if you don't know, significantly impacts your timing window. You've got to be much more precise, and also more precise with your PCI to make good solid contact. You're going to strike out a lot with a guy like Jake Arrieta. Not a terrible card by any means, but not one that I'm frothing at the mouth for. Adam Dunn. So he is an interesting one. Our first pitcher that we're going to talk about. I think the pitchers are all pretty damn good, and they gave, I think, every single pitcher at least a sinker or a cutter. I mean, it's crazy to think that some of these guys have those kind of pitch mixes, but they made it fun. And these are ingrained in reality. Adam Dunn actually pitched in a major league game before. You know, Kenley Jansen used to play catcher for 4 years in the Dodgers system before transitioning to a Hall of Fame closer. So I do like the real world impact of this. I think it's a lot of fun. Adam Dunn is actually pretty solid. He's not going to blow you away on the radar gun, but 100 plus on hit, K, and BB9, 110 walks per 9 with great pitch clutch. Yeah, he's not the best pitcher on this list by any means, but he's pretty good with the solid motion as well. Cutter Crawford, who we thought was going to be Mookie Betts, turned out not to be, but he does have Mookie Betts' stance and swing, so there's that. He's got really good contact at 112 and 109 respectively. He will fit the Stephen Kwan captain, so you can boost that even higher. And he's a shortstop, infielder. He's got solid clutch at 111. He's a pretty good, bona fide good card all the way around. He's pretty solid, just not a ton of power. Next up, Aaron Nola for the Phillies. And he's pretty good too. Once again, shortstop, second and third as secondaries, much like Cutter. And the contact isn't quite as high, but you do get more power. Problem is, you don't fit with the Brandon Lau captain now because the contact is 3 points too high. It's into the hundreds, so that's unfortunate. And again, the vision and the clutch aren't amazing here, but a pretty solid card for Aaron Nola with the cool swing. Jake Cronenworth. I did think this card was pretty fun. He has the Paul Skeens wind up, so a lot of you guys are pretty familiar with how that's going to work. And again, not too quick. 96 on the four seam, but he's got great intangibles. Hit K and BB9 again, all at or above 100. And the pitch clutch is pretty good too. Cronenworth, pretty damn good card. Jonah Heim. Now, interestingly, they changed that. Yesterday, he had catcher secondary. He was the only out-of-position card that you could actually play at the regular position. So it's funny that they did make that change. But he's a third baseman, switch hitter. He's got max arm, 99, with gold shield defense, which is definitely good enough. But the vision, kind of low at 79. The power's kind of low. Again, he doesn't fit either Brandon Lau or Stephen Kwan. He will fit O'Neal Cruz, which I think is the best of those cornerstone captains. Stay on the lookout. We're going to make a video talking about who and how you should build a team in Season 3 because it's absolutely crazy right now. But Heim, I like him. Nice switch hitter. We've got Big CC Sabathia, designated hitter, but plenty well-rounded defensively to play at first base with 68 fielding and even 47 speed for the big boy. He's got a great swing. I think it's MJ Melendez for the Royals, who's been one of my favorite Battle Royale cards ever. So I breezed through CC's moment, crushed a couple of tanks. Yeah, this is a pretty fun card with good attributes. Just don't expect Kwan or Lau captains on him. Willie Mays, all the way around. I mean, he's really good, and he fits pretty much any captain that you could possibly look for. Corbin Carroll, I know he was last season's cornerstone captain, but a lot of people are still looking to run that one. And he fits Lau, he fits Kwan. He's got Diamond Shield defense at third with the ability to get it paralleled 5. Diamond Shield at shortstop and first base. Willie Mays got a great swing. And again, he is what a lot of these players don't have, which is pretty much every quirk of the game. So that's a fantastic card. Charlie Blackmon. Chuck Nasty. I think he has Josh Hader's pitching motion, I do believe. So it's kind of glitchy, kind of wild. He's only going to throw 95, but he's got a sinker cutter combo with 71 circle change. I mean, you're talking like a funky throwing Trevor Hoffman right here with very similar control. 118 hit 9, so the PCI is going to look like my Peter coming out of the hot tub. He's got 108 BB9, good pitch clutch, damn good card for Chuck Nasty. And then Mariano Rivera, Center fielder, diamond shield defense with 85 speed, tracks down everything. He's got 90 plus arms, so he fits O'Neal Cruz, he fits Quan, he fits Lau. He fits nearly every captain. He fits Corbin Carroll. He fits the Mike Mussina captain, which is important to note. That cornerstone will work for out of position Hall of Fame pitchers. So Randy Johnson, Nolan Ryan, Mariano Rivera. If you look at Mussina, he does boost hitting stats as well. So Mo is the jack of all trades. Honestly, he could be A tier. In which case, let's look at who's going to join him at the A tier. The most exhausted tier that we've got on this entire ranking. There's so many great cards. And we'll start with Ellie De La Cruz, who's got Craig Kimbrell. He's going to be doing one of those. It's so funny. He's got double outlier on the slider, which, as far as I know, he's the only pitcher in the game to have an outliered slider. Also outlier on the four seam, not on the sinker, however, which makes him even better. The only problem with Ellie is he throws so hard and his BB9 is so low. It is nearly impossible to find the strike zone with him. I've been trying. I have him parallel 2. I was using him in Conquest. Difficult. I tried him online, even more difficult. You imagine once you get to like Hall of Fame Legend, if you're gonna play up to those difficulties, it's nearly impossible to try and throw strikes with this guy. Angel Hernandez might not even spot you a call, but he's fun. I gotta give him that. Byron Buxton, now he does have outlier on the four seam. I don't believe on the sinker, and he doesn't have quite the hit and K per 9 that Ellie has, but he does have a bit more command of the strike zone, plus 20 BB9. He's a pretty good card. I like Buck, of course, a little bit of bias here. Sure, that's okay, but he's an A-tier card. I like Mr. Byron Buxton. Roy Halladay, this is a fantastic one. Again, he's just shy of the Corbin Carroll captain eligibility, but he's a Swiss Army knife. Can play the entire infield, essentially, all of the outfield with pretty good speed, pretty good defensive ratings, and again, he fits Quan, he fits Lau. He's just good. He's got a nice little swing to him as well. I like Doc. We've got Austin Riley, a sneaky pick here. He's got a great pitch mix. I don't remember what pitcher he has the same motion as, but it's a pretty good one. Sinker cutter combo, and he throws strikes even though the BB9 is a little bit lower. The hit per 9's pretty high. The K per 9's pretty high. Austin Riley's just a well-rounded card that plays a lot higher than his attributes might indicate. Sneaky pick. I really like that one so far. Mark McGwire. He's got Rob Nen. That's how he pitches. And he's got a good funky mix to him. He's got a four-seam sinker and a slider alongside a changeup to feature into towards left-handers. He's just good. I mean, you look 111, 114 K9, 113 pitch clutch. Who knew? I mean, steroids make anybody into a great pitcher, apparently. We got Bryce Harper, of course, at catcher. Now, this is one that probably everybody knows that Bryce Harper was a catcher initially. Also pitched a little bit, too. Could have been cool if they made him into a two-way player, kind of like Trout, Anthony Rizzo. But Barper comes in, 105, 102, 100 plus against both righty stats. Pretty good against lefties as well. Maxed out clutch, 94 arm, 80 speed behind the dish. Is pretty sweet. Again, the only two stats that really matter for catchers is block and arm. The block isn't really there at 57, but honestly, I think arm is the most important attribute for the backstops, and he's got some of the best quirks, the best swing of the game. We know Bryce Harper, so I like that card a bunch. Mason Wynn. I think this card is severely underrated. Mason Wynn's another guy that actually, for quite a while, was a pitcher in the Cardinals organization. A lot of people know how hard he throws the ball from the hole at shortstop. No wonder that he has outlier equipped. Also, rarely throws that cutter and sinker hard too, but no outlier. 5-pitch mix, 100 plus hit and K per 9, pitch clutch at 102, and more accuracy than a guy like Ellie De La Cruz. Good motion as well. Mason Wynn is one of the best pitchers they dropped. He's excellent. Nolan Ryan. Although I hated this moment challenge, I think the card is pretty good. I'm just going to chalk it up to me sucking ass at the game. He's got max arm, so he fits O'Neal Cruz. Diamond Shield defense at center field with 95 reaction and 80 speed. I can't stress how important the reaction rating is for outfielders. It really pays so many dividends. The vision is a bit low at 76, but the clutch is high. The contact is pretty high. The power starts out at a pretty good level too. And again, you put him on the O'Neal Cruz captain boost, get that even higher, and make him one of the best defending outfielders with a speed boost as well. Hell yes. Banger card. Manny Machado, also a pretty sneaky pick for one of the best relievers here. He's got a funky motion. I believe it's Amir Garrett, this time coming from the right-handed slot, of course. And he's got a four-seam, a slurve ball, a sinker cutter. He's great. He's got really good command of the strike zone at 105 BB9, 118 pitch clutch. The PCIs are microscopic. Manny Machado is really good. We got Paul Skeens, again, catcher right here. We know how good of hitter Paul Skeens was at his time at Air Force, and he comes in 99 arm behind the plate, which is great. Fits O'Neal Cruz, can get even higher power. He's got a good swing to him. Again, refer back to earlier part of the video to see that whole list. Great contact, 125 maxed out against lefties out of the box. Also, clutch is max too. Paul Skeens just cannot get a bad card in this game, I'm convinced. And then Riley Green. Almost put him at S tier. I wanted to keep it at a certain number of cards, so that's why he's left off. But he's got the Aroldis Chapman pitch windup with 121 K per 9, 80 BB9, which is about 79 higher than Aroldis Chapman has, with pretty similar stuff pitch mix wise. He's great. Oh my God. With how rare good lefty bullpen arms are in this game, Riley Green is a must-have. And finally, let's take a look at S tier, the cream of the crop, the best of the best that Season 3 has to offer. Randy Johnson. I hated the moment. It took me 30, maybe 40 tries. It was terrible. Hitting at the Metrodome, I mean, yeah, it's rough, but the card is really good because he's got, again, Diamond Shield defense with max arm, fits O'Neal Cruz, gets even more power and speed. Arm accuracy doesn't make too big of a difference in this game. We've got reaction rating at 90, already starting out at the elite levels. And he's got 106, 109 against left, 104 contact against right with a fair amount of power as well. And maxed out clutch. He's insane. Randy's so good. Mike Trout, a two-way player with an interesting pitch mix. He does not throw hard, 93 on the sinker. A cutter at 88. I mean, he's a junk baller. The 75 BB9, see, that's where things get interesting because he's actually a hell of a lot more accurate than that rating would indicate because he throws slow. The two big factors for accuracy and control in the game are not actually individual control attributes. It is BB9 and velocity. And if the velo's low, you're going to throw darts. Pitch with Tyler Rogers for the Giants and see how that works. But he's a great hitter. I mean, I think that's the most important aspect of this Trout card. He's got 100 power both ways. The vision's low, but we know the kind of swing that Trouty has. He has 95 speed. He has 90 arm, good contact as well, 5 quirks. One thing that I should note with two-way players, if it's a starting pitcher primary, you will not be eligible for captains like Elly De La Cruz. Same thing with Shohei Ohtani that happened earlier in the year and Babe Ruth. It sucks, but so does this game. Jake DeGrom for the New York Mets. I think he is the only card with 100 plus on all hitting attributes. He's got 104, 101 contact, 102, 101 power with 116 clutch and 100 vision. Max arm, so he fits O'Neal Cruz. You can make him even better if that's the captain that you want to run. He's so good. The fielding is bad. 66 at shortstop isn't great. You can make it work, but you could also just throw him in at DH and not have to worry about it. He's got a good swing to him. We've used Jake DeGrom hitting cards before, like his 2021 Team Affinity card, which had great hitting stats. I love this card. He's got one of the best swings in the game. And he's a pitcher. Zach Greinke. Holy hell, is this card fun, because he fits all captains. He fits O'Neill Cruz, Lau, and Steven Kwan. Does not fit Musina, but he will soon. Give it 5-6 years until he gets into the Hall of Fame. He's got 70 speed. He has a catcher secondary with 94 arm, and he's got basically 99 on everything, including clutch. He's so good. It doesn't make any sense, but he's so good. But he's not quite as good as my favorite card here, which is going to be Kenley Jansen. A switch hitting catcher, we know how valuable that is, who's going to fit O'Neill Cruz, that captain boost. He also would fit Steven Kwan if you want even more contact. Think of him as a Carlos Santana type. He's got good enough power where you can hit some homers, especially if you boost that up with O'Neill Cruz. 112 clutch. He's excellent. He's going to play Gold Glove caliber defense for you. Also, Rafael Devers, that cornerstone captain if you want that boost on him. He fits with how your theme team works. He's got great out-of-the-box attributes and fantastic swing to boot. So that is Season 3 of Team Affinity. A ton of excellent cards. They did a great job. And again, something that I really want to stress here is I like that they're doing something different. If they're going to have a shortened legend list and not going to be introducing no more legends this year, this is a way to freshen things up. I think this is 10 times more exciting than if we just got another pitcher Paul Skeens, another shortstop Ellie De La Cruz, another starting pitcher Randy Johnson, even though that is in the collection, of course. But I like it. I'm having fun with it. Let me know how you guys are enjoying the out-of-position team with Team Affinity in all of Season 3. There's tons more to come. Thank you for watching this one.